Welcome back to Crafted in the South.
Episode 6, Roddy. Episode 6.
Episode 6, yep. So, James, what have you been doing in Hampshire?
Well, it's the month of February, Roddy. I've been feeling all the brotherly love because it's the month of Valentine's Day. It's been a fantastic month. There's been some...
Yeah, what have you been up to?
I've been visiting. I've visited a couple of lodges. I've got some great visits coming up. There's a banner dedication next week at Pax Hill in Eastleigh, which is a ceremony I've never seen before.
Neither have I. You're going to have to tell us about that the next episode.
I certainly will. We both had a chapter meeting to Wolsey chapter, the greatest chapter in the universe, as if it needs saying. Everybody knows.
That was a good medium. A very good meeting.
It was a fantastic meeting, a triple exaltation, and there are three
another
of those coming
triple
up,
exaltation because we're part of it.
Yeah,
in December.
Over 100 companions now in Wolsey chapter,
and it's very exciting. The best chapter in the universe. I myself went visiting last week. I went to Royal Gloucester Lodge number 130. Wow. I mean, one of the oldest lodges in the UK.
Yeah, 130. That's a low number.
It was founded before the United States of America, just to give you some insight of how old they are.
I mean, in due respect, Roddy, I've got underwear that's older than the United States of America, my friend. But
I have to say, that was such a treat because you go to visit a lodge that is steeped in tradition. They had a fantastic initiation. And I have to congratulate the officers that conducted that initiation. It was top notch. Kudos to their worshipful master Harry Plowright. Also to Sean Jordan that delivered that amazing charge, and to the junior deacon David Skinner. That was just top notch. But what I loved about it is that they had fun with their ritual without getting rid of the gravity of initiation. And I highly suggest if brethren want to go visit a lodge in Southampton, that's one of the lodges they go visit because it's just steeped in tradition. But I don't want to digress of the very important podcast that we have today. James, what do we have on schedule today?
Well, this is one that I've been looking forward to for a long time, because this is a whole new part of Freemasonry that I've never been exposed to, and I suspect many brethren haven't. Today we're going to be joined by Worshipful Brother Sue Land. Sue is past master and assistant director of ceremonies of the Portsmouth Lodge of Duty number 77, and she's going to talk to us all about ladies Freemasonry, of which I know absolutely nothing.
Yep, she is from the Order of Women Freemasons, and it's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and she is going to go over what are the differences, but actually there's so much more that joins us together.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you guys are in for a treat, because I think together we are stronger together.
I have a feeling that this will be one of those episodes that will be trimmed to about 45 minutes, but that could have gone for 45 hours.
Yeah,
if the conversation had kept going. So much to learn. Absolutely.
And also she comes from, having a unique perspective, that she comes from what I call a double Masonic home. Her husband is Brother Graham
Land.
Yeah. Graham Land.
Worshipful Brother Graham Land.
Worshipful. I think today is a very special day. It's a privilege, because this is something that I personally have been really wanting to do, is meet a lady Freemason, because there's not enough exposure to female Freemasonry. I think we need to know more about it, how alike we are, and I think it enriches our Freemasonry as well. And James, I don't know about you, but we're two lucky lads right now. Bring it over to you so we could start this podcast, which is of very, very much importance.
Yeah, so as we said just now, we're joined today by Worshipful Brother Sue Land. Sue, welcome.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit about how you got into Freemasonry and your journey so far. What's brought you here today?
My name is Sue Land, and I joined Freemasonry in 2011. I'd been asked many times before that, because my husband's a Freemason, And there was quite a unique situation where a lot of the wives of the brethren of his lodge all belong to the lodge that I'm now in. And so many of the social functions that I attended, I was approached and asked, when are you going to come and join? But it was never the right time, or I didn't feel it was. But eventually I was asked, and that I thought, well, why not? So 2011, I actually went into Freemasonry. I've been on the journey. I have covered, had the privilege of being in office ever since I went in. And I've covered all the offices up through. Was in the chair between COVID from 2019 to 2022. I've since been IPM, Tyler, and at the moment I am Assistant Director of Ceremonies. What I will be in May when we have our installation, that will be the new Master's Choice, if I'm anything. So that's my journey so far.
So you joined Freemasonry and you just went in head first. You just became extremely active in Freemasonry. And why do you think that was? What drove you to be so active? It sounds like you had to have the perfect time, and I think you're very right when it comes to Freemasonry. It has to be when you feel it's right to do, because it's a commitment, but yet it's a beautiful one. And why do you think you dived in so much into it? It sounds like you're very active and you're passionate. You could just hear it in your voice.
I think I just found that the more I got involved in it, the more I gave to it, the more it gave me. And I was on a journey, and I believe everyone is on their own journey.
Absolutely.
And what I love about it is I think that you get on that train and it's your journey and it's your choice when you get off. Some people never get off that train. They just keep going. I'm still on that train at the moment. How far I'm going to go, I have no idea. No one knows what life's going to throw at them. But I'm enjoying it at the moment, and all the time I'm enjoying it, I'm happy to keep going. And so I love it. So, and I think that as the years have gone on, I have got more and more out of it. For me, there's not one word that can describe Freemasonry.
Agreed.
It's a whole package. It's camaraderie, it's lifelong friendships, it's a support network, integrity, charity. It makes you a better person, not better than anyone else, but better for yourself. There's traditions there's ceremonies. It's the whole package. And I think the more you get involved in it, the more you want to keep going.
I couldn't agree more. All right, James?
Yeah. And so as you understand it, what are the differences between ladies Freemasonry and men's Freemasonry? Can you tell us anything about the history of ladies Freemasonry?
Well, you'll be very surprised that the differences are very few. Very few. We actually work the universal ritual. We have, when I became a worshipful brother, I had my husband's apron. So that's all the same. We do wear a gown in lodge. But apart from that, the actual, what we do, we have all the same degrees as you do. So there's very, very little difference in that way. The history of women's Freemasonry actually started in 1908, which is incredible when you think about it from that time, because it would have been very influential women and perhaps the suffragettes as well, because in those days women didn't really have any rights. So to be able to form a lodge was incredible, really. They didn't even get the vote till 10 years later.
That's
so, working back to that time, it was an incredible thing that they did. The first lodges that were formed was the Lodge Golden Rule #1, Lodge Emulation #2, and Lodge of Unity #3, and they're all still working today, and they're all based up in London. Our first Grand Master was a gentleman, which a lot of people don't realise. His name, Dr. William Cobb. Reverend Dr. William Cobb. Right, William Cobb served as Grand Master for 4 years and was succeeded by Marion Halsey, since which time all our Grand Masters have been women. Marion Halsey was the daughter-in-law of the then Deputy Grand Master of the United Grand Lodge of England. She had been initiated into Lodge Golden Rule number 1 in 1909 and became Grand Master within 3 years.
So it's fantastic that there is a connection with you, Julie, at the beginning.
Yes.
So when we're talking about that there isn't many differences on the whole organization, is there a difference within the ritual, how it's performed, and also is there a difference when it comes to maybe joining, what do I say, quote unquote, side orders? Is there, let's say, in usually you have to go through first, second, third degree and then join Royal Arch. Is there something like a Royal Arch in Women Freemasonry? How are those steps within the organization?
I would say that we work from the ritual book.
Okay.
And we work with Universal. The actual degrees, we cover all your degrees.
Okay.
But we do have them in an order. You can't join a degree until you become a Master Mason. And then I believe it's 30 days after you become a Master Mason, you can apply to join. They're in an order.
Okay.
So the first one that you order is Mark. Is Mark, then Ram, then Chapter, and it goes on like that. We can't just pick and choose which ones we want to go in. There is an order that we follow, yes.
Which is it's a big difference, significant difference, right?
It is. I mean, men's Freemasonry has an order as well, but I mean, I've only been in 3 years, so 3 years in April.
Likewise.
I don't think I'm going to beat the initiate to Grand Master timeline. I've got 2 months to do it, but I'll give it a go. But no, so in men's Freemasonry, the side orders are sort of split into 2 halves. I think one half of which all stems from Chapter, the other all stems from Mark, and some Masons go one way or the other, and some go both. But for most of our side orders, you have to be in either Chapter or Mark first before you can join the other ones. Right. So same principles, but a slightly different order, I think. Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, like, during your experience, what's been a memorable moment within the order that has really deeply resonated with you, and that since you've been a Mason?
Since I've been a Freemason, I think it's the support network that we all have within the women's, that really came tonight, really, during COVID, when the government shut us down, and we have a lot of ladies in our lodge that live on their own, widows and so on. So we knew it was going to be hard. So apart from making phone calls and perhaps, supporting in that way, we decided to set up a Facebook group, which was locked down just to our ladies, so that they could talk about everything, and they did. There was, they were showing pictures of their gardens or whatever it was that pleased them or upset them at the time. They could air it on there. So it was a lifeline really for a lot of them. And at the time, the men were raising a 9 o'clock toast in my husband's area. And I thought, what a wonderful idea. And as Worshipful Master, I proposed a toast on our site and just said a very, very simple one. Officers and brethren, of course, in the duty, stay safe and well, something like that. And straight away, another member of the lodge said, can I post one tomorrow night? Which she did. And it snowballed. And it just went from strength to strength, and everyone was putting on, there was no restrictions on to what that toast could be. So we had funny ones, we had emotional ones, very often topical ones with what was going on with the news. So you actually had things like toasts for the key workers, the NHS, the Order of Women Freemasons, Captain Tom, I expect you remember him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The vaccines. We had the passing of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, and then you have all the days that you celebrate every year anyway, or commemorate, like the E-Day, the Queen's birthday, remembrance, and so on. So a lot of those, because they were topical at that time, and I expect you remember that we even had an Olympics in Japan.
Yes.
Where they had no,
absolutely,
no body to support them. So there would be a toast, say, for, congratulating them on the gold medals or whatever. And so we have here a set of books that came about because when I was talking to one of the ladies one day, she said she would like to record it because she thought that it was, what we were doing was unique. And my husband said, why don't you produce a booklet? So the three of us got together and we wrote the first book of 100 Toasts, which I have here. And we kept carrying on with raising more toasts, and we eventually got to 600 when we decided that was it.
Wow.
And the reason that we decided that was it was because we were going back to lodge.
Yeah.
Things were starting to get back to normal and we didn't need it anymore. But in these set of books is the history of our lodge through COVID and what was going on, and we're so proud of these books as a lodge. It was such an achievement, and these books, although there were three of us that put them together, this is the lodge's books. They wrote them.
Yes.
It's there. Each one has been headed up with their names and the date that they posted them and the number. And the 500th was actually, we invited our Grand Inspector at the time to raise the 500th for us, which we felt was a milestone. And she was very pleased to do so. So we have really got the history of COVID and our lodge in these books, and we're very, very proud of them. And just, I think what sums it up and the support that it did actually give everyone, I would like to read, if possible.
Yes, please do. I was going to ask you to please read us a passage.
I mean, I could go on and on, but it would take me all day to read those. Right, so this is the 600th toast, and it was on the 16th of November 2021. Good evening, brethren. It was in March 2020 that the Portsmouth Lodge of Duty number 77 Facebook page was established, which allows us to keep in touch with each other and to share happy thoughts. For 113 years, we have been reminded at every installation that we have one aim in view: to unite in the grand designs of being happy and communicating happiness. There is no doubt whatsoever that for an outstanding 600 nights as a lodge, we have achieved that true Masonic aim. We have laughed together, occasionally cried together, and have supported each other through every conceivable twist and turn that life has thrown in our direction. This 600-day experience has impacted on all our lives in such an incredible way. It will always hold a very special place in our hearts. Hopefully it will also enable future generations of brothers to begin to understand what it really meant to have lived through a national pandemic. We are now moving forward stronger and more connected to each other than ever before. The future for the Portsmouth Lodge of Duty is very positive and exciting. In bringing this remarkable achievement to a close, it seems appropriate for the 600th toast to quote a famous Masonic phrase: "It is well finished."
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, there's one other, well, there's lots, they're all important, but there's one other one which I posted, which was, I felt I wanted in these books because I thought it was quite significant. So this is the 599th toast, and it's: Good evening, brethren. The bonds of Freemasonry have strengthened between the men and women during the course of the pandemic, jointly raising money for charities, supporting local communities, and raising awareness of Freemasonry to the wider community. The toast this evening is to the bonds of Freemasonry. So, and I really did feel that, because during COVID there was a time when the men and the women joined in. We may be short in numbers compared with the men, but we're very enthusiastic, and the support is always there from the women.
It sums up what Freemasons
Yes,
about those days.
it does.
It is.
Who was the brother who gave the 600th?
I did actually speak to her and ask if I could read it before I came on. So I will actually give you her name. And it is Worshipful Brother Hilary Baldwin.
Worshipful Brother Hilary Baldwin. Well, Hilary, if you're listening, what a fantastic toast. What a wonderful way to finish off. Do you give those books to your initiates moving forward, or are those just for the members who were there at the time?
Those books we printed them out, and they went to the members that were at the lodge at the time.
I wanted to ask you, did that book go to Grand Lodge?
We did send a copy to Grand Lodge, but there's no one else has got them, no.
Yeah.
Or we sent them to our Grand Master.
To your Grandmaster. I think because it's so important, because what you just did is quite historic. And if I was a Freemason, either female or male, and I wanted to look back at what happened during the pandemic through Freemasonry, you gave me an entire outlook of what you guys were going through.
Yeah, it's a wonderful piece of Masonic history there.
That is history right there. And for me, just that you gave me a window to go back to 2020, let's say, if I was in 21, 22, and I wanted to go back, I think that's very important. Like, I love that you ladies did that, because, I mean, that's unique. You guys made history together without thinking of it.
Yes, it was something that it was the support that we gave each other.
Absolutely.
Because we knew at 9 o'clock every night whether some of the ladies chose not to actually make the toast, but they were still there supporting it. They would still comment on it. You know, the toast would be made at 9 o'clock, and then everyone would start coming down and
Yes.
repeating that toast. And the other thing is that from the book one, because in the back of each book was the brethren that raised the toast, the officers, and the names of all the brethren. We actually had a lady in our lodge that passed away. So that was, you know, and so we have got toasts that she made. And when I was looking at the book, the first book, before I came actually today, I've realised that there are 7 of our members that have passed to the Grand Lodge above since we started that book.
Wow.
And, well, my proposer and seconder are 2 of those ladies. And it is, so, yes, it truly is history for our lodge.
Absolutely.
Because we have got their words in here, which
Absolutely.
will always
Yeah.
be in
For
there.
posterity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had a question, because you from looking outside in, I feel that you're in a very unique position as having a husband that's also a Freemason. Personally, or maybe that you've seen with the greater organizations, how is it the experience? How is it different, the camaraderie between the women in Freemasonry? I feel like maybe there's a difference, and it's neither wrong or right. I mean, if you perceived a difference, I'm trying to use the correct words. I feel like there's more, from what the experience you give me, there's just this more enmeshment of
Oh, definitely.
brotherhood.
Socially, I mean, I'm going to the theatre Saturday night with ladies from our lodge. I'm going to a coffee morning to a different lodge to visit Saturday morning.
Okay.
I was at the mayor's office last week in Portsmouth. He invited our group, Lady Freemasons, because I met him when I was at the Threshers Week in Portsmouth.
Okay.
He came round, and I was on the stand with for Freemasonry, and I asked if we could have a photograph. The next thing is he's invited us to his parlour.
Brilliant.
Fabulous. So, thank you very much for that. So we are a very active lodge socially. Very, very active. We meet as friends outside as well as the lodge. But socially, to raise money for the charities that we support, which is always the Worshipful Masters charity, we have lots of events going on throughout the year, possibly a lot more than you men. We do have a gents' night.
Okay, brilliant. All right.
It's identical to
It's the same, but
Backwards. Yeah.
so the men are on it.
Brilliant.
In that one. And so we have a gentleman's evening, and they're always very successful. We will have a gin night. That's always very successful.
Okay.
We have very responsible drivers that bring us, and we have an evening gin where we always have the raffle for the charity. We will always have something in the summer, say a garden party or a barbecue. Christmas is around December. We always have a wreath making where we all get together and do that, and then we'll have the raffle as well. Obviously, we'll have a Christmas lunch, and I always put on a coffee morning, a Christmas coffee morning, which is well supported. So we have lots going on throughout the year.
Okay.
And that's how we raise our money for the charities.
Do you think the ritual makes the friendship or the relationships very different than having friends or associates that are not Freemasons? Is there just something special? That is there a magnetism with these relationships, do you think? And then my follow-up question would be, why do women need female Freemasonry?
Well, for all the same reasons that you want Freemasonry, it's just the same for me. I get as much out of Freemasonry as a man does. There's no difference. It's just as important to us as it is to the men. And why shouldn't we have lady Freemasons? You know, it's
absolutely.
And I want to say personally, this is a personal view, feel that they should never ever come together, because there are so many reasons for that. We would just be swallowed up with the men, but also they work so hard at the beginning to get it off the ground. And there are some things where in life, like sports is another, isn't it?
Yes.
There are certain things where you respect each other for doing the same, but they shouldn't join. And that's my own personal opinion.
I support that, because I do think that there should be only women's spaces, because there's a magic that comes out of there. Just as like there is men as well, because once you're in a group, it just helps you become the best woman that you could be the best man that you can be, because there are certain attributes that I'm not going to get into, because we could be here all day, right? Because of the experience of the sex that we're born. And I really do think you're right. There's just this different support that comes from being around other women. I've experienced it because I've seen groups of women together, because I grew up in my mom was a beautician, and I grew up in the thick of it. I'm talking about 20, 30 women at once in the house. And me and my dad, sometimes we were just the only boys. And there's just this wonderful thing going on. And we always used to say, it could be just my dad alone or just myself alone amongst the women. We're like, the man blessed among the women. And it was just this dynamic that was absolutely fantastic. These girls were having fun, the support, the advice. So I agree with you, and that there is just should be these only spaces where the development of the woman or the man should be just for them.
I agree. And one thing that I think is very important, and I'll tell you a little story as to why I think that in a moment, is that women, it's a safe environment for them to go out.
Absolutely.
We know when we get there, we're going to know everyone in there is a Freemason. We've got ladies of all ages, up to 90 and further on, that are out for the evening, socialising and having a great time in a safe environment. Now, some of the ladies will be picked up by other brethren, they'll be dropped off by their families, but they're there and they're safe. And I had the privilege back last year of going to a lodge where there was a lady who had just had her 100th birthday, and she was in lodge and she delivered some ritual absolutely brilliantly. She's a wonderful lady. She, at the festive board, everyone made a fuss of her. She was very proudly showing her card she'd received from the King and Queen, and she had not one but 2 birthday cakes. And I sat back and I thought, where else can a 100-year-old lady go out, socialise, be with friends, and be safe and have a wonderful time? And this is where I go on to believe in that Freemasonry to me is my other family. You say about the camaraderie and everything. Yes, definitely. I mean, I have my family who I love dearly, and I have my Masonic family, and it is like a family. I mean, we've got a lady at the moment who's due to have a baby next month, and I think we're all having that baby with her.
Oh,
and she's going to have so many aunties, you know what I mean? It's marvellous, and we all pull together. There is a support there for the women, definitely.
You said something really important, Sue, that it just dawned on me, and I really have never, ever articulated. Safety. I've never really thought of that. It really just dawned on me, like, and James, like, I don't know if you feel it, when we go to any of our lodges, or even to lodges that we've never been before, you could just walk in, have a chat, have a dinner with new brethren that pretty much are new, if you want to call them strangers, but they're not, because you're joined by the ritual. I've never really thought of it. You're 100% right. The safety is something that I think I've taken for granted.
I think men probably do, but for women, it's very. We visit a lot. We support each other a lot with visiting, especially installations.
Okay.
Because where we're so few on the ground, we have to travel further.
Yes.
Whereas Graham, my husband, can be out every night, and he might be going to 3 or 4 centres locally.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go out for the evening, and I may be going to Basingstoke or to Eastbourne or Chichester. Do you know, you'd have to travel further
Absolutely.
To support each other.
Yes.
And very often we'll have a stay over, especially with installations where I may we'll go to Bath and we'll stay overnight, or Isle of Wight coming up next month in March. We have a meeting over the Isle of Wight. There are 17 of our lodge going over there in force.
Fantastic.
What we tend to do is we car share,
Mm-hmm.
and we will meet and we will all get on the ferry together on the Thursday, have the installation Friday, and then we come home Saturday. So we turn it into a 2-day event, and we have a fabulous time over there with all of the other visitors that are there. So I've got that to look forward to next month. But we do that quite a lot. I've been to Harrogate, Coventry, Plymouth, just for lodge meetings, especially the Grand Lodge meetings that we go to. We do travel a lot, so invariably we end up staying.
Yes.
So let me ask you, you said a few minutes ago that it was important that ladies' Freemasonry and men's Freemasonry work together, but that men's Freemasonry doesn't consume ladies' Freemasonry by virtue of its size. What things do you think that the two halves of Freemasonry, if you like, could do better than they do now to synergize more, to cooperate together, to help each other grow without sort of encroaching on each other's territory?
Well, I think they already are at the moment within the community.
Yeah.
With raising money for charities. The men have started inviting us to join them at their events when they're promoting Freemasonry. And I absolutely love that side of it, because you meet some wonderful people and you can put a lot of misconceptions to rest. You'll be amazed at what people ask you, what misinformation that they've got. I've been called a devil worshipper, a corrupt and above the law, that we're a commune, live in communes, we're religious. There are so many things, and it is so lovely and satisfying to be able to say, well, let them say what they're saying. Well, maybe you've got well, we know they've got it wrong, but you give them a brochure to take away and say, at your leisure, read that, go on the site, have a look. That is not what it's about, and it's lovely to be able to do that. And we've actually had, it wasn't with me, but one of the guys on one of the stands that I was at, someone actually shook his hand and said, thank you, I've learnt something today. And I think that is what it's all about.
Yes.
And I was at the Kite Festival actually at Southsea, and an Indian gentleman came up to me with his wife and his daughter, and he just kept looking and he couldn't believe it. And he was looking at it. He said, 1, I can't believe you're actually out here promoting it. And 2, I had no idea there was such a thing as a woman Freemason. So the next thing is I'm stood in this picture where someone's taking a picture of him stood one side, his wife the other, and his daughter, because he wanted proof to take back to India that there was such a thing as a woman Freemason.
That is brilliant.
And I thought that was amazing. And it's lovely times like that. And then you'll meet all the Freemasons that want to come up and introduce themselves and tell you what lodges they're from, and that's always very interesting. And then you'll get the people that want to say thank you. I had a guy who actually came up and said, I've got a lot to thank the Freemasons for. This was obviously the men. They put me through college.
Wow.
Father passed away. And then I was actually at Farnborough Motor Show when I had a lady come up to me and actually said to me that I've got a lot to thank I'm not a Freemason, but I've got a lot to thank them for, because they put me through the Royal Masonic Hospital, Ravenscourt Park, which I didn't know much about until after I'd spoken to her. She was a wonderful lady, and she was talking to me about their uniform. Apparently the front buckle was a square and compass, which I didn't know. And she sent me through Messenger a picture of all the nurses that were at Ravenscourt, and I had her permission, and I posted a picture of that on the Order of Women Freemasons, just to say that she'd said thank you and I'd met her and everything. I know it was the men that had set that up, but you get people that want to come and talk to you and tell you stories. So, and then from a recruitment sort of I don't think that's where you're going to get all your candidates, although we do get the odd few, but you don't know what seeds you're sowing for the future. You know, it's so difficult to be able to, but from a PR exercise,
Yes.
though they are so important. It gives people a chance to come up and just say, what are you, what do you do, and it gives you a chance to
an awareness of who we are, our traditions.
Yes.
And we do more for the community than you think. We just don't. I think I've always been of the opinion, as Freemasons, we need to shout louder of the work that we do, because that's, as we're seeing, younger Masons or potential younger Masons are attracted to the charitable part of Freemasonry, and which I wanted to ask you, how does recruitment look like with female Freemasonry? How is it healthy, or is it not? What I'm trying to ask is it
growing?
Is it growing? Is it such like a top thing that we got to recruit, or it's something that is just naturally coming through recommendations?
I think it is slowly growing, because we did take a hit after COVID.
Okay.
I think the men did as well, I don't know, but which was understandable, but it is starting to pick up again now.
Usually, is it younger women, or is it across the board? How does that look like? I'm really interested. I mean, I don't think it's the same. I heard that maybe you were at a Freshers Week as well.
Yes, I was down at Portsmouth University.
Okay.
Yes. So we are trying to attract the younger people, the same as the men are. Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask you? Can you envisage a future? I know at the moment our respective Grand Lodges don't permit it, but can you envisage a future where it might be possible for men to visit a ladies' lodge, or vice versa? Can you envisage a time when there might be mixed lodges, or do you think that those are lines that shouldn't be crossed, however closely we work together? I know it's not currently possible, but do you think in the future it might be the way the craft evolves?
I've no idea. That would not be something that I would be involved in making a decision about, but I don't think so at the moment. I really don't. I mean, I did go and do a presentation to a men's lodge, a daytime lodge, with another colleague, and that was very well received. So we did go. They called off, and we went in, and then that was it. But we were allowed to wear our regalia. So we were in our regalia, but actually being in the same lodge while they're working, I can't see that. Yeah. But then it's not for me to say on that. I'm sorry, it's only my own personal opinion.
Right, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Is there anything else that you particularly want to tease out? I tell you, let's ask how. If there's a lady listening in now, because the people that listen to this podcast, the vast majority of them currently are existing Masons, but there are some who aren't, and we don't control who listens and who doesn't. So if there's a lady listening now who wants to learn more, how do they get involved in Ladies Freemasonry? Who should they talk to?
They can go on our website, the Order of Women Freemasons.
We'll put that link in the show notes.
Absolutely, we will do that.
And make an inquiry, and then it will go further from that. I think that's probably the best way. And look at our website and see if it's for them. I mean, there may be some wives out there, you never know,
You never know.
that are interested.
Do you find that being in a Masonic home, does it make it easier in terms of learning ceremony and ritual? Is it easier
definitely. When I rehearse with my husband all the time. When I was going in the chair, and obviously there's quite a lot to learn with that. I don't know how many times I actually, invested in with certain things. It was, yes, we can, and we can talk about it. So that, I think there is an advantage there.
Yes.
Because I can go home from lodge and talk to Graham about it. He can come home and talk to me about it. So there is that side of it. Yes.
Fantastic.
And I, of course, knowing how enthusiastic I am, and my husband's the same, we support each other when we're out. So, I don't complain when he's out.
Yeah, because
He doesn't
You know what he's
complain when
doing.
I'm out or I'm away for the weekend. We support each other in that way, 100%.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have that at home.
Yeah.
And our sons are Freemasons.
Oh, are they? So full Masonic house.
Well, our
Almost.
daughter's not. but
Okay.
Our son is.
For now.
Yes.
For now.
Well, she's yes, because at her age I wasn't either, because she's full on with her family and
Fair
her
enough.
commitments and her business. Her work. So, definitely not for her.
Interesting you say that. Because I think that's something to explore. So are you seeing that there is a gap between joining when a woman joins female Freemasonry, that they could be on the younger perspective? I mean, on the younger side, I'm sorry. Then maybe there's a gap when maybe they do have children and come after when children are grown, or is that just not a factor that you've seen in your experience? Because I feel that's something that could be very unique when you decide to become a female Freemason.
We get an interest with the young. In fact, our worshipful master at the moment,
Okay.
who's the one that is due to have the baby next month, she applied before she was able to come in. She was too young. And she was coming to social events first. And so she's our youngest worshipful master we've ever had. So we do get the young brethren that come in. And I've been to several initiations where that they have been young, and that's lovely to see.
Yes.
And there's nothing to say that people can't take a back seat for a while with business or family and still be a Freemason and then come back. It's like that train I was talking about. You can get on and off of that as much as you need to. It is your journey, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Sometimes I feel like I'm asking these questions like there's kind of like a tinge of ignorance, because I just find it so unique, right? Well, or just many men, but they just probably, to be honest, confused that there's women Freemason, and again, there isn't any difference. Like I had that question.
The principles of
The principles are the same, because I just had that question. Like, oh, if let's say a female Freemason becomes pregnant, so does that mean that they have to take time off? But you said it at the beginning, like
No.
also the males as well. Like they could just step back as well,
You can step back. You can still be a member of the lodge.
because it happens all the time as well in any lodge, in any of the Freemason organizations, because stuff happens in life.
Well, it happened to our son.
Yeah.
He was about to go in the chair, but because of work commitments and everything else, he couldn't. So he took a
Exactly.
step back. He's since gone back to it as an office, and he's been through the chair. So you can have because life throws curveballs at you, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And you have to. I mean, we have exactly the same as you do, and we have these books that we're very, very proud of as well, which is
the Welcome to Freemasonry book.
well,
Equivalent.
these are the women's ones. Now, when they are initiated, they will be given this book at the end, and it has so much information about what they've just done, even the bromulations of the blood,
that's nice.
the collars, things that they're likely to ask questions about, but they can read about. And then in the back is their questions for when they become a fellow craft.
Okay.
So that would be their first one, and it's the same for when they've done their second degree and their third. Now, these are kept by their mentor, and we have mentors in the lodge. We have 2 in our lodge, and I'm one of those.
Okay.
So we would then go through the book with them, and obviously they go through their words, and we encourage them to ask questions anyway, because I find with Freemasonry there is so much etiquette, so much to learn.
Yes.
And it's nice for them to be able to ask questions. I'm happy for any of them to call me up anytime, and if I don't know the answer, then I'll find out for them. So
Absolutely.
that's the thing. So we have mentors as well.
I think one of the differences between that book and so we have in a man's lodge, when they've done their initiation, they'll get a welcome to Freemasonry book, which has the picture of the provincial Grand Master and other information about what they just done and the order they joined and so on, which is just given after initiation. But that book is written so that you could give that to a non-Masonic friend to try and show them a little bit about the craft and try and entice them in. Whereas I think when you flip through that might not be, would that be unsuitable to show to non-Masons, as it details some of the ceremony in a bit more detail than you might like?
Yes, we wouldn't. I mean, we hold on to these. We don't give them to them until they've gone through each degree. So, no, we wouldn't want those.
You wouldn't want them circulating out there?
No, definitely not. That is for them, and it answers a lot of their questions after they've done the degree. So I think they're absolutely excellent books. It shows what they've done around the lodge, and like in this one, it shows all the collars, so that they've got an idea of who the officers, and just basically answers a few of their questions that they're likely to want to know. And the words in the back, obviously. So no, you wouldn't want this to come out.
Yes, all right. I see.
Do you think there's I accept that the individual lodges have no influence here, but one of the things I've noticed in the books that you've shown and as you've been talking is that, Lady Masons are brothers or brethren. The master is the worshipful master.
We are brothers,
they're worshipful brothers. Do you think that that it would help with recruitment of new members if the gendering of the language were to change? Because it's all, in my understanding of those definitions, it all relates to men. It's all very masculine language, and I accept that individual lodges can't change that because that's how it is. But do you think that's one of the evolutions that Lady Masonry might make moving forward?
I can't see it because it's a tradition, isn't it now? And I think Freemasonry has got a lot of traditions, so I can't see that suddenly changing. No.
Have you ever noticed that that's a problem when you're talking to a prospective member, that they've highlighted that as something that might stop them, or is it not been a problem?
Not that I've noticed, no.
Okay, that's good.
No, not personally, whether it is a problem, but no, I can't see that being a problem, and I can't see it changing either, really, not after, being since 1908 as it is. I can't see it suddenly changing now, no.
Have you got any other questions? Is there anything else that you particularly want to talk about?
Well, I just like to say that we have actually got Freemasons lodges in our order. As you know, there's 2 ladies' orders, isn't there?
Yes.
But in our order, we're in Australia, Canada, South Africa, Spain, and Zimbabwe. So that's where we have lodges abroad. And I would like to say that when I went visiting with my husband to my sister who lives in Australia, we went round a lot of the men's lodges. I did contact the ladies' lodges, but at the time they were closed down because we went over the Christmas, and obviously they're at a different time to us, and they weren't open. But they said that if I was ever over there again, to contact them and I could meet them. But I did accompany Graham to many of the lodges there, and we had a private tour around Australia, and the one in Adelaide, around their Grand Lodge. And we were made so welcome, and I was made welcome, and they invited me to all the festive boards, and they toasted me, which is something you wouldn't get in this country. And I just found that amazing. I went to several lodge meetings. I was not in the lodge meeting, but they showed me round. And then I was sat outside where they gave me refreshments and drinks, and then I joined them at the festive board. And that I found was amazing. They are so welcoming. So that just proves that male or female, you're welcome when you go to a lodge.
Yes.
And you're a Freemason, you're welcome everywhere.
So you mentioned earlier that you gave a lecture on the history of ladies Freemasonry in a men's lodge recently. If there are masters or other brethren listening in now that would like to have that lecture delivered to their lodge, can they reach out to you? Is that a service that you offer?
Well, we've only done it the once.
Yeah.
And we were very, very nervous at the time because obviously we didn't know how we'd be received, and they made us very welcome, I will say. And we did join them at their festive board, and it went down very well, I think. But I think we have something to learn about delivering that as well. But I don't see any reason why not. So I can't see that we're going to be inundated.
I think you might be inundated after this podcast.
What we'll say then, for brethren listening in, if you're interested in hearing that lecture, get in contact with us at the podcast, and
Absolutely.
we'll you with Sue, and you can have that discussion. I think it's well worth doing.
I think it would be a start of a beautiful relationship.
I think it would.
Sure.
I think it would.
Sue, when it comes to engaging the community, what is female Freemasonry doing?
We work closely with all the charities that we support, and there is a connection now more so with the male Freemasons in that we are going along to their events and putting our presence there as well. So I'm really looking forward to that evolving. It's fairly new, really, but I can see that the women and the men will start working together in the communities. That's how I envisage it happening.
Because together we're stronger.
Exactly, yes.
I mean,
and it puts a perspective on it, I think, as well, is that Freemasonry is not just male or female, it's a family thing.
I love that.
So, I think really that, and also when you've got a family event like the Kite Festival,
Yes.
you've got lots of children and that there as well. It's nice to see that there are men and women, and it's easier for families to approach a table, I think,
Yes.
and talk to somebody if they've got, I can go and chat to a lady about her little one in the pushchair, but and ask if they're enjoying the kites or whatever. Whereas it's a bit more difficult for a man to do that, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I agree, and this is it's a two-pronged approach, and I really like that you said about the family aspect about it. Of just having mom and dad or couples come together at the same time.
Yes.
To have that,
Yes.
and just imagine. I could just imagine how beautiful that would be if a couple does go join together at the same time and go through that experience together. What happens after that for their relationship? That's something I've never thought about. Going through something like that is just another aspect of making your relationship better. Please don't quote on me. I'm going to tell you that your marriage is going to get better. But I think it's actually a beautiful experience because Freemasonry, as much as it is community minded, it's also an individual journey. That it goes individual community, and that relationship, it's what makes it so special, because you're going from, let's say, the rough asher to a smooth asher, right? Meaning that you're cultivating yourself as a person, but you're also cultivating yourself for the greater good, for the greater good of your community, your lodge, but also outside your lodge, meaning your local community. And I cannot wait to go to an event where both of the Freemasons are there, female and male as well.
Yeah. Well, Sue, thank you for coming and spending some time with us today. It's been a really fascinating interview, possibly the one, well, not possibly, definitely the one I've enjoyed the most out of all the ones we've done so far.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a huge learning.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a huge learning experience for us. I think the biggest takeaway for me will be that, despite the mechanics of men's and ladies Freemasonry being different, the values are absolutely the same.
They are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
That's very encouraging because they're good values.
They are.
I think we'll agree.
Yeah.
Sue, thank you for dropping by.
Thank you very
Thank you so much, Sue. All right, James.
Wow, what a fantastic interview that was. That so much to learn about ladies Freemasonry. Fascinating for me, the differences between, you know, the mechanics of how the ceremonies are run and how Freemasonry as an organization is managed, but the principles and the values are exactly the same.
Absolutely. And just there's one thing that really stuck with me about what Sue said that I personally have taken for granted is the inherent safety that we have within our lodges and with our brethren, that we could be ourselves, that we could go to a safe environment and actually then cultivate ourselves there and then become a very valuable asset to our lodge and to our local communities. And I really didn't think of it like that. She changed my mind, and how lucky we are that we have this inherent safety in a group that we could just basically flourish, blossom as a person. And I think I thank Sue for actually pointing that out, because it just wasn't evident to me, and I couldn't describe the feeling that maybe I've had of this until now. And I am very thankful that we had this opportunity with Sue, because all these conversations that we have with different brethren, it just points out again how lucky we are to be part of this organization.
It does. I was remarking to someone the other day that the last few visits I've been to, I've been asked to do the response on behalf of the visitors at the festive board. It seems to be every meeting at the moment I get pulled for that, which I don't mind one bit, but it's happening with remarkable consistency at the moment.
Brilliant. I'm scared of those.
in one of those responses, I said that one of the things that I've learnt about Freemasonry in the 3 years I've been a member is that it allows you to, for the couple of hours of the ceremony and the couple of hours of the festive board, it allows you to almost, or certainly allows me to just switch off from the world outside, to just be surrounded with brethren with whom I share those values and those principles, and just immerse myself in the ceremony, in the craft, and in the fantastic dinner afterwards. And it's I don't think, I can't imagine finding that anywhere else. And it's absolutely clear from talking to Sue there that that's exactly what Lady Freemasonries do. They do their Freemasonry the same way that we do. They get the same things out of it that we get out of it.
You're hitting on something that's very interesting that I've been seeing resurfacing online lately, and it's the whole concept of the third space. And the third space is where you build community, and it's, just for lack of a better word, a safe space where you go relax, where you just go have fun, or you could just be. And honestly, being in a lodge gives you that third space, because you could just be sometimes just quote unquote just be at a rehearsal. Maybe you're not going to be performing anything during ritual, and you just want to go and hang out, and then have a good laugh between rehearsals, and when people are making mistakes, or just like friendly banter. And like you said, you're totally switching off from your day, from your work or anything outside of the world, right? And there's something really important about that. And Sue, she kind of put it into different perspectives, and I really like that's what I really loved about this conversation, that it was something that we think we know about so well, and then comes this different brethren that has a completely different perspective and gives you a whole entire new, sheds a whole entire new light on this, and you're just like, wow, there's so much to learn about this.
Yeah, and I think it's something you struggle to get in real life, because I think one of the differences between the Masonic environment and everyday life is that I think everyday life can be, and I may have said this in a previous episode, but I think everyday life can be quite transactional when you're at work. It's about, what do I need to deliver today? What resources do I need from my company to do those things today? What do I have to give? What do I need to take? And so on. And life is very transactional, but Masonic life, I don't think, is like that at all. It's just about being together with your fellow brothers,
Yeah.
enjoying their company, enjoying the ceremony,
Yes.
and enjoying the dinner, and then you go back to that life. And I think when you remove the transactional elements of relationships, it does allow you to focus more on the things that you can learn, on the things that you can discover that you wouldn't have done. And that interview was certainly a journey of discovery for us, and I hope that we'll have Sue and other Lady Masons back in a future episode.
Absolutely.
To learn more. There's so much more we could have talked about there that we just didn't have the time to get to.
And with that, I have to say our cups are filled.
Yes, our cups runneth over. But we will be back for another fantastic episode next month. At least I hope they're fantastic. If you think they're fantastic, then tell us. If you don't think they're fantastic, then keep quiet. But we will be back for another episode next month. But until then, as always, Roddy and I have been happy to meet
Sorry to part.
and happy to meet again. See ya.